Hi guys, welcome to another section of Math with Mr. Hustler. Today we're going to do section 2-9 and 2-10, solving one-step inequalities by adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. So down here we have review. We just want to remember that if we have a less than or if we have a greater than sign, we graph it with an open circle. If we have a less than or equal to or a greater than or equal to sign, we graph it with a closed dot. Down here we have our two beginning problems. We're going to have to solve and graph these. So just like solving equations, we're going to put a line right down the middle right there, and we're going to say n plus 8 is greater than or equal to 19. We're going to have to solve that, so let's use our inverse operations. So we have minus, and we put 8. That cancels it out. And same thing over here, minus 8. This comes straight down, so I have n. My sign is going to stay. 19 minus 8 is 11, so my answer is n is greater than or equal to 11. Now I need to graph this, so let's put 11 in the middle of our graph. 12, 13, 10, 9, 8. I graph it. I have a greater than or equal to sign. I'm going to put a closed dot, and then I'm going to shade to the right. Moving on to the second one over here, same thing. I'm going to draw a line right down the middle. I have to get my variable alone, which is y. Look, I have y minus 14. I'm going to use inverse operations, so I'm going to add 14 to both sides. That cancels that out. Add 14. I have negative 26 plus 14. I got to remember, if we have different signs, we subtract them. So I said 26 minus 14 is going to be 12. And then I look, 26 is bigger, so I keep my negative on it. I'm going to bring down my sign and bring down my y. Now, normally we could just graph it at this point, but we always want to have our variable on the left side. So to do that, I'm just going to flip everything. I'm going to put y over here, negative 12 over here, and I look, my arrow was pointing towards my y, so I'm going to keep it pointing towards my y when I flip it. Negative 12, negative 11, negative 10, negative 13, negative 14. So now I need to graph it. I have a less than sign, so it's going to be an open circle. I'm going to put that above 12, and I'm going to shade it to the left. So there's my graph, and here's my final answer. That was section 2-9. Now we're into multiplying and dividing. So let's look. We have 4x is greater than negative 40. We have to solve this. So put my line down the middle. What's happening between 4 and the x is multiplication. So let's use division to undo it. 4 divided by 4 cancels out. Negative 40 divided by 4. So I have my x, I have my sign, and I get negative 10. So now I have to graph this again. Negative 10, negative 9, negative 8. Negative 11, negative 12. So it's a greater than sign, so let's put an open circle, and I'm going to shade to the right. And there's my final answer. Now, let's try this one over here. It has a star next to it. Let's see if we can remember what we have to do. We have a negative 9t is less than 36. So again, draw our line. Divide by negative 9 on both sides. Divide, that cancels out. I have a t. 36 divided by negative 9, I get negative 4. But what's tricky about this one is whenever we multiply or divide by a negative number, we have to flip the sign. So I had a less than sign. I now have to flip it to a greater than sign. So if I put my numbers in now, negative 4, negative 3, negative 2, negative 5, negative 6. Put my numbers in. I have an open circle, and now I shade to the right because I flipped my sign. The big thing we can't forget to do is we have to multiply or divide by a negative number. We have to flip that sign. Let's do these. Draw my line down the middle. We have division. We undo that by saying let's multiply by 4. That's gone. Let's multiply by 4. 2 times 4 is 8. Keep our sign there. We didn't multiply or divide by negative, so it's not going to flip. I have my m. But again, I want my variable on the left side. So let's move it over. M2. Our arrow here was pointing towards the 2. Let's keep it that way. And I have m is greater than or equal to 2. So let's put the 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, and 0. Let's put a closed circle, and we shade to the right. And there's my final answer in my graph. And one last problem for the day, guys. Let's draw our line down the middle. Let's multiply by our negative 3 on both sides. And then we get, that's gone, t. 7 times negative 3 is negative 21. But again, let's remember, we multiplied by a negative number, so we have to flip that sign. Let's put our numbers in now. Negative 21, negative 20, negative 19, negative 18, negative 22, negative 23. Okay, it's a greater than sign, so we put an open circle and we're going to shade to the right. And here's my final answer. T is greater than negative 21 and my graph. Alright, that's it for 2-9 and 2-10, guys. Have a good night. Peace out, Cub Scouts.